So around 10 years back when I came to Germany, I still remember I just landed from the flight. I took this U-Bahn train till my hostel, and it was snowing because it was December season then, and I could feel that cold wind gushing through my face, and everything so clean, everything so nice, that fresh air I could breathe in Germany, and it was a wonderful experience. But what was important is I still remember that I was absolutely clueless about what I will do here or which job I will be doing. I just randomly took a course out of my gut feel and just went for it. And lucky me that I also got admission into that course. Now, when I was in Germany, I was quite naive in how I was thinking about my career, my profession. I didn't plan too much. And the reason for this was because of lack of experience. I came with only 3 years of experience from India and clueless about how I will manage things, how I will get job, in which sector or which profession I would get job. Just based on a gut feeling, I came here and started my journey. And on hindsight, when I think it was a bit stupid of me to do this. And I'll tell you why. Because now, after so many years of experience, I feel if I would have known and did a little bit of research, the story could have been very different for me. I could have progressed in my career much faster. So, in this video, I'll tell you about top 5 professions you should look out for when you're coming to Germany. These are not only high-paying jobs, but also on a satisfaction level could be very satisfying for you. So without any further ado, let's start this video. Hi, my name is Gaurav and I've been working and living in Germany for past 10 years. While I was staying here in Germany, I did experience a couple of sectors and different job profiles, worked with different people to understand where and how I could place myself in a better career. And hopefully this list would also help you to make better career choices for yourself. So let's start this list. So number 1 is a medical professional. Now, tons and tons of time people have been asking me in the comments if it's a good profession and should they come to Germany to work in these professions. Now, when I say about medical or healthcare professionals, I'm talking about doctors, nurses, and dentists. Let's talk about pros and cons for these. So, obviously, these jobs come with an extremely high job security. They usually fall under government realms of jobs, to say, and they have a huge societal impact. So that's why I say the amount of satisfaction you will get in these jobs will be extremely high, because it's I think one of the most noble jobs from this list. And you tend to touch a lot of lives, you tend to change a lot of lives, and in many cases, patients start treating you like God. So I feel it's one of those noble careers you should definitely look out for. It has excellent benefits, and I feel a better work-life balance over what you get in India. So my own mother comes from a healthcare sector. She worked in a cardiology department, and I have seen tons and tons of time it was extremely hard for her to work because of these uneven shifts and huge amount of pressure on the health workers to work longer hours so that they can get as many patients done as possible, which is not exactly the case here. I think it's a little better over what we have experienced in an Indian hospital. Now, on the hindsight, there are also some cons to this job. Well, the amount of studies you would have to go through are quite intensive and long. And on top of it, as an expat, you would have to learn a very good German, even better in many cases than in other professions. And when I say even better, I mean you need to know good medical vocabulary of German. And this could be extremely challenging and painful for many. Second thing is, there are irregular hours of working, right? Because there are different shifts here. Now, the work-life balance is still better than what you could get in other countries, but nevertheless, it's equally intense and could be a lot toll taking on your health. Because in my experience, also from my friend circle, I have seen some of the doctors speak about it in private with me, that even though they're doing a very noble job, it has been very toll taking mentally for them, because they have seen so many people dying in their hands, so many people in pain and misery, which I feel is sad. But nevertheless, the perks are great, it's a noble cause, and there is an extreme high demand of this profession in the country. And when I speak with these working professionals, working doctors, one thing they say is that they need more amount of medical professionals in this sector because there is a skill shortage and they need a lot of more people to come and work in Germany in this sector. Now, number 2 is, without a surprise, IT and tech specialists. I have been talking on this channel time and time again that software engineering, IT management, data science, AI experts, they are in extreme high demand. Salaries are good, perks are good, you get tons of opportunity, but the best part about these jobs is that you can work in English. Yes, you heard it right. Many of the jobs in Germany where you get to speak English are in tech. And this makes a lot of things easier for an expat to settle in Germany. Now, it's not all hunky-dory ride here, because it also comes with a little bit of cons that you should know. So in tech sector, from my experience, what I have seen, technology changes at a very rapid pace. Probably change is the only permanent thing in this sector. And every couple of months, something new comes in. And to keep learning new technology and to be at fast pace and in demand sometimes can be very overwhelming. And to adapt yourself to this new technology and to help with automation and digitalization and getting that thing inculcated into the company, which comes into the category of change management, becomes also very hard in majority of cases. Cons for IT is that there is immense, intense competition because everybody wants to get into those English-speaking job roles, which this sector provides. And there is a lot of pressure. Coming up next is engineering. Now, tons and tons of requests and messages I get is from engineering guys. They are mostly from mechanical, electrical, and even renewable energy experts. And the pros for this profession is that they are in extreme high demand. They get paid well because they are niche sectors which demand these kind of professions, and there is a skill shortage in these sectors. Plus, they give you this global career perspective where you get to travel a lot in Europe, or in many cases also around the world, because Germany is known for its technology and its industrialization. So cons for these engineering roles. These engineering roles can be long projects, and this means working overtime. In Germany, in many cases, this is paid overtime, so this is not exactly an issue. However, because of this, your work-life balance can get disturbed in some cases. You need to adapt to automation because technology keeps changing here, and you need to inculcate this new upcoming technology into your product. So this becomes very tricky in many cases. And lastly, if you're working on a client side, you might need to speak some amount of German with them because you're working as an engineer in Germany. It could be the case that your customers, which in many cases in SMEs or small medium enterprises, are Germans. And this could get tricky very fast. So look out for that. Now, fourth is a very interesting job profile, and this is more in direction of working in legal and financial professionals. And I'm talking about professions like being a corporate lawyer or an investment banker, which could be dream for many lawyers and MBAs. Now, the perks and salaries in this sector are unprecedented. They can go as high as 500,000 euros, I have heard in some cases. And they get a huge amount of exposure on corporate levels. You get to work at very prestigious companies and banks, which could be, in terms of exposure, huge for somebody starting out in these careers. And you get a lot of international mobility. So you would be traveling from US, Africa, China, a lot of traveling. And it's also, I feel personally, a very stimulating and intelligent work. So You tend to also be surrounded by such people, which enhances your mental capabilities and also challenges you of how you solve problems, which could be fantastic for somebody who wants to grow in these sectors. However, there are a couple of cons to this job. Number one, you are working in extreme high pressure environment, and this means forget about life. Especially in finance, they are heavily regulated industries, and there are a lot of compliances in this that you would have to follow. And there are a lot of strict qualifications to get into these professions, because it's a very walled profession area where qualifications, certifications means a lot. So in many cases, you would have to pass the German bar exam, for example, or qualify for a certification like a CFA, which could make a make or break difference for you. Long working hours are very normal in this profession, and in many cases you do not get to enjoy that European life a lot here. But that's compensated with your corporate culture and corporate exposure that you get. So if you enjoy that, that's fine. But if you are somebody who is looking for work and life balance, maybe not the best profession for you. And lastly, you have to be bilingual in profession here, because English, for sure, in many international companies is the spoken language, but in many cases, to go and navigate through the local regulations, you have to speak the local German language. And this could be a bit tricky in many cases, so look out for that. Last but not least is the business development roles. Now, these are very exciting professions, personally, what I feel. They are related to sales and getting new business in the company. So the strategic opportunities, so-called, are huge to get promoted into a leadership role very fast. They have diverse responsibilities. So from handling the projects to building the products to doing client meetings and getting business in the company. And it's a very high visible job role and also a very high impact job role where you affect the P&L of a company very fast. So I feel personally it's a great career trajectory if you are planning for good leadership roles, a good salary, a prestigious position. This is the role you should be targeting for. Opportunities in this sector across various fields is enormous, and you learn a lot about multiple businesses, and in many cases you would get an opportunity to travel to fairs, talk to clients, and you get enormous amount of exposure in this field for selling your products and services to different people. But nevertheless, this profession also comes with cons. First of all is there is enormous performance pressure on you. So you get targets and you would have to fulfill these targets on an annual basis. If not, this can significantly affect your salaries and your compensations. And in many cases, this is measured by your growth, your amount of sales you're getting into the business, how many deals you have closed, how many clients you have met, how have you grown as a professional. So a lot of KPIs are there which are bound with your bonuses. And it could be a bit overwhelming in some cases for many who do not like to work under pressure. There is enormous stress of balancing between the internal teams, the external client, and the project deadlines, which is also a bit hard. Then there is also a lot of dependencies with other departments. So you are that center person who has to tie the knots between marketing, branding, communications, engineering, and you need to thread all this together to provide a service to your customers, which makes you kind of jack of trades and also hard because you are expert in none. And this could be a negative point in some cases. Then you have to have extremely strong communication skills, extremely strong negotiation skills, and you need to be a very good networking person. So if you are one of those people who are shy speaking to people or who feel they are not comfortable in such environments or consider themselves so-called introverts, maybe this profession is not for you. And the last but not the least is the linguistics. Since this is a communication-based role, German is in most cases not an option to not learn. You need to know the language. In many cases, you need to know more languages. You have to be multilingual because it could be that your customers are sitting in France or Italy or China, and then either you can speak with them in English or in their language, which is definitely more effective in many cases to convince and negotiate good deals. And that's pretty much it. I would suggest, if you are interested in any of these 5 careers which I listed, then start working towards them. Take actionable steps. You can go for masters. You can even try to pivot your career in the same industry. And remember that for communication roles, it's always an advantage that you know a little bit of German before you try to get into those professions, or else, even if you crack the interviews, it will suddenly become hard for you to navigate your ways through the profession. And lastly, for more such career tips in Germany, don't forget to subscribe our channel. And if you are interested in more such videos, you can click on one of our playlists here, which can support you to have a good career in Germany. That's it for today. Till then, that's Gaurav. Auf Wiedersehen.